Hello everyone, good day. Welcome to the Academy for Digital Learning and Mastery, also known as ADLM Studio. In today's video, I will be putting you through how to use the ADLM plugin for your quantity takeoff for majorly substructural works like your column base, the trench excavation and trench works, column footing, and ground beam and column. So that's what we'll be doing today. We'll be covering both the concrete reinforcement and formwork of all of this and how to do all this quantity takeoff in just a single click. That's what we'll be covering in today's video. So just stay tuned to the end and kindly give this video a like and subscribe to this channel because I'll be posting more videos like this on how to make use of these plugins regularly. And if you're also interested in the plugin, kindly contact me as I'll leave my link for contact in the description of this video below. You can just check the description of this video to contact me for these plugins. Okay, now for today's session we're looking at the reinforcements and column and all of substructural works. Actually, that's what we'll be covering today. Now come to the first page here, which is the first page of our drawing, and this is the layout of this building. Now you see the column base layout and the column footing and the footing details also, and ground beam. You see how it's goes. Now right here we have the section of the building. On this section we are told that from the natural ground level down here I'll have our total excavation as 1.3 meters, right? Now we have to scale this page. We'll come down to scale, then that will be 6 meters. I'll be picking the scale for scaling the building. That's between grid line 17 and 18. That's 6 meters. Now let's use M on your keyboard to magnify. Now once you're done with that, you move to the next side also. That's for scale. By like scaling both vertical and horizontal to get more accurate quantities. That will be 5.63. Okay, that's between grid line G and F. So you can just use your M to zoom in to be sure of where you're going to click on. Okay, now that's good. Now once you've scaled your drawing, this drawing is scaled already. You have to go through the drawing to check whatever information we have. Yeah, now we have the column based schedule down here also. This will help you instead of picking directly on the drawing like this. It will help you just pick with the schedule. Now the ADLM plugins has two features here. It has a feature for if you'll be using the area to pick directly on the drawing like this, and if you're going to be using the beam schedule for those that might be lucky enough to have a beam schedule. Now since we have the depth of our excavation as 1.3 meters, right? Now what we'll do now is just come to this substructure of this plugin. Now we see the column base. Now for this column base we have two here. We have the first type of column base, second one. Now for the first column base here, now we just click on this blue dot, turn this on. What this will do is it will just ask you for the column base. Just type in column base, then the depth of the column base, that's 1.3 meters from this, right? You can just put number as 1 since it's just one floor. Once you've done that, just click OK. Now what you do now is just you start picking all of this area one by one. So you just pick for BT3. You can just pick for the entire column base with just single click like this. You can also refer to the video I made on column excavation with Planswift within the description on the video, where I explain more on how to use this tool for excavation and all. But this is just how to make use of this plugin for this, and you have the volume as 29 meter cube for the little we've measured already. So that's factored all of that. That is using the long method and using the layout directly like this. Now we're going to be using the schedule for our measurement. Now what we do is just come to this page. That is the second page here. We have the beam schedule here. Now we pick the other one, the second tool here, which is the column based tool also. Now once you just turn this on, you have the column base. You can just call it column base 1 instead. Now we have the numbers, that's just 4. And we have the length, that's 2 meters by 2 meters. Then the depth is 1.3, right? Just click OK and OK. Now about the depth, we have to verify the depth because the depth we have on this first page here, this just shows for the footing details. That shows for the footing details, the depth of your footing and all. That's what this is indicating. Now let's see the column base details. Now we have this here. So for the total column base, it's around 2 meters, including the thickness of the base of around 800 mm. So we're to add the thickness and all and the blinding, which is shown on this page here. We have to add the thickness and all. That should be around 2.8 or 2.6. And I can always verify that by using the scale. Let's scale this page. So just click scale this page. You can use this column base 7 to scale the page. That's 3.3 meters by 3.3 meters. So just come to scale. That will be 3.3. Okay. You pick from this end down to the next end. Always use this to magnify. Okay. Then the other side also scale. That will be 3.3 also. Okay. So pick from down here down to the top part. Now you have your drawing scaled already. Now you can always leave this on the drawing or turn it off. If you are going to leave it, you see it's looking too big here, just come down to tools, view, adjust dimension, and you just change this to, let's say, 0.3. Okay, and we have this looking more reasonable here. Okay, once you've done that, now let's verify my thickness of this by just using the dimension tool here. Let's pick from the top here, from this top down to the bottom. That's 0.85. So you've seen it's 0.85. On an average, most of this column base is 0.85 thick. So that we'll be using excavation depth of 2.85, right? Because we have the starter going across 2 meters. So that is how you would go about that for the. Okay, so for the next column base here, which is based on this schedule, you can just pick this like this. Once you pick this column base, that will be column base 2. Just put 2 at the front. Then the numbers will be 21 based on this number here. That will be 21. The length will be 3.2, and the width is 3.2 also. Then the depth is 2.85 based on the calculation you got. How I got the 2.85, right? Okay, so that will just be for this and stuff. So that shows for the entire volume for this part. Now we're going to the next one, which is the column base 3. Also, I'll just look for the 4th column so you can see how this works. Now for column base 3, also the number here is 10. Then the length is 2.5. Then the width here is 2.5 also. Then the depth is 2.85. You all know how I got that. Okay, then this, so that's for the 4th one. No, the 3rd one rather. So I just adjust this. This is for the 3rd one. You see this marks here is just trying to make me know how far I've gone and what is left for me. Then the 4th one, which is the last one I'll be doing for covering for this video, it'll just be here. That will be column base 4. Then the number also will be 21 of this. The length will be 3.8 and the width will be 3.8 also. Then the thickness, that's the depth, is 2.85. Once you've done this, okay, and this, so that will be for this first 4 set of column base, and this is the total volume around here. So that's how you go about it. Now we come down to your takeoff summary here. Just something I want you to see. Now for this takeoff summary, you see the first type of column base that we did, which is through the area that we measured. You'd see the earthwork support details. You see the quantity of earthwork support, that's 34.74 square meters. Surface treatment is this, and leveling and compacting is this. So with just single clicks, you have all of these details available to you. Now for the earthwork support here, you see it's 0 here. Okay, so now you see with just the single click you've done, you can see all of those quantities coming out here. Now if you're having 0, you can just double click. Once you double click, you just confirm your height, which is 2.85. okay, and you see with just single click, you were able to cover for all of this. So you've measured for, with just a single click that we did here, you measured for your earthwork support, your surface treatment, leveling and compacting, and the volume of excavation itself. That is almost 2/3 of the total excavation work. So that is how you've covered for all of that. Now move to the next stage, which is the reinforcements, because this is one part many of you will be bothered about, which is the column base reinforcements and all. Now what we'll do now is we'll move to the next tool here, which is the. So now once you're done with this, we'll move to the next part, which is the column base itself. As the column base details. So we'll come down to frames here. Other columns, we'll click on this. So for columns, we have reinforcement in column base, concrete in column base, and we have this concrete here. Right now, you know there's no formwork in column base, so we're using this concrete in CB. That's concrete in column base too. Just click once. Once you click once, it turns on these features for you. So just concrete in column base, just put one. Once put one here, the number that is for the first one here, we have 4 of that, right? The length is 2 meters, the width is also 2 meters. So once you've done that, the thickness of your column base is 0.85 and 0.8 rather. That's based on this. If you remember this here, this is 0.85 including your blinding. So if you remove your blinding from it, that makes it 0.8. So your concrete in column base is 0.8, right? Now once you've done this at 0.8 and leave all of this as you just click OK and just identify that you just picked for this first one alone. That's this blue mark here. That's for the concrete in column base. Now stop. Once you're done with this, you pick for the next one, which is the column base 2. That's turn us. Just pick this, just turn it on. It's just a single click. Then the number of this also is 21. Then we have the length as 3.2 and the width as 3.2 also, and the thickness is 0.85. I also have some drop down here, which is we may want to make use of, but if you don't have that, you can just make use of the 0.85. Remember, this is in meters. Okay, so that is for the second one here. Now for the third one here also, which is column base 3, just turn this on. That will be, once you turn this on, okay, that's for the third one. The numbers, that's 10. The length is 2.5 and the width is also 2.5. As easy as that. Then the thickness is 0.8 also. Once you've done that, okay, and you have this for the third one here. Now moving on to the fourth one, also same process applies. That's just on this on here. Then for the fourth one, that's 4. Then this goes for 21. Then the length is 3.8. The width is also 3.8, and thickness is 0.85 also, and 0.8 rather. Then okay, then you pick this. So that's what's for this 4 column base here. Then you can stop. So here you have the entire volume of the 4 column base here. If you come to your books and summary here, you see the units here, meter cube. So you have your excavation and you have your column base concrete. Now move to the reinforcement, which is a part that I'm sure many of you will want to see, will be bothered about and all. Now for the reinforcement here, see the details of reinforcement we have. We have 16 mm diameter bar at 0.125 spacing, 16 mm bar at 125 spacing. That's what we have across board. We check this also. We have 16 mm bar at 125 spacing, right? This is beam type 1. That's base type 1. That's the first one here also. They are all similar, all 16 mm, right? Now what you just do is turn on this reinforcement in column base. Once you turn this on, sorry about that. Okay, so once you turn this on for reinforcement in column base, it brings this out. So reinforcement column base, you can just type 1. That's for the first one. Then you have your description, and or you can just leave all of this the way it is. Then the diameter is 16. You can just type, just put 1 as your description if you want to. Then the number of column base, that's the number of column base. You have 4 of that, 4 column base. The spacing is 0.125. You have some drop down here, but 1.15 is not among this, so you just type it in directly. Then the short side is 2 meters by 2 meters. Then the bend, that is the loop bend up there. That's this kind of bend right here. So for the bend now, we know we have our thickness as 0.8. Then remove the cover and all, that's 0.7. Now you can just write 0.7 plus the extra bend, let's say 0.15 extra. Then we have it on 2 sides, the 2 sides of the column base. The horizontal also same thing, since it's similar, plus 0.15. Then we have it on 2 sides. They can always deduct a cover. You have to cover here, and just click OK, and that's for this. Let me see you're done with this. Once you just stop, you have your entire kg of blinding as for reinforcement in column base as this already. So this is okay. So that covers for the column base, the first reinforcement. And for the second one here, which is this also, what you do is just remember it's frames, columns. Then you just pick reinforcement in column base. Remember it's column base we're dealing with. So reinforcement in column base, once you just turn this on, that's for the second one, that's 2. Then you can just put this as 2. And the diameter is still 16 mm diameter bar. That's 16 mm. We have the drop down here, so you can just pick 16 also. Then for this we have 21. Then the spacing is 0.125, if you remember. Then the short side is 3.2. They are both equal, so you can just put them interchangeably. Then the bend is 0.8 plus 0.15. You can just use this. Then two sides, 0.8. That's 0.8 plus 0.15. Then you have it on two sides. Then the cover, I just pick two sides of cover. Okay. Then you can just pick this. So that's for the second one. Now for the third one, now also you have see the tonnage here. The next one also, just turn this on. That's for 3. Then you can just put 3 as description. Diameter will be 16 mm diameter bar. The spacing, that's this is for the number. We have 10 of this. Then we have the spacing as 0.125. The short side is 2.5 by 2.5. Then the bend 0.8 plus 0.15. Then we have 2.8 plus 0.15. We have 2. Now for the fourth one also, just pick on reinforcement here. That's for the fourth one here. Just once you turn this on, now reinforcement in column base 4. Right? Now the description should be 4. The diameter, that's 16 mm also. The number of this is also 21. Then the spacing, that we don't have 0.125 here, so just 0.125. The short side is 3.8. The long side is also 3.8. And the bend is 0.8 plus 0.15. We have 2 of that. For this also 0.8 plus 0.15. You just have 2 of that. Now let's include your cover, which is 2 sides of cover. Okay, you just single click and you're done. So you have your total reinforcement for the 4 column base as this. Right now, once you're done with this and you've covered for all of the column base, I want to show you something here. Once you double click on this reinforcement in column base here, you see the short bar quantity and the long bar quantity. So for column base 1, that's 17. If you check down here, 17. Did you see that we're on track? Did you see? So that shows that you are on track. That's the meaning. And once you've covered for all of this as for your column base and all, moving to the next stage, which is the column starter. And for the column starter also, it's something similar to what you've done. We'll be just making use of these tools also here. Now for this column 1, we have 450 by 230, and we have 2 meters of this, 2 meters, 2 meters, and 2 meters. So they are all similar starters here, which is the 2 meter high starter, and it's for 230 by 450. See this section here. Can you see the section of 230 by 450? Now see this also 230 by 450. So all of these are similar, right? So what you just do now, if you have this kind of situation, is you pick for 1. So what you do now is for concrete. Now you just turn this on for concrete. Now for concrete, the number of this, that's 8. Let's just do for this first one first. That's 8. Then the length is 0.23. The width is 0.45. You can use it interchangeably if you want to. Basically your choice. Now the height. Now what we have here, we have the height of concrete as 2 meters. This is your column starter here as 2 meters, right? So we just put 2 here. Once you've done that, just click OK and just pick. That's just for this. Now this is 1.7 cubic meters. Now we have 8 numbers here. Based on this, we have 2, we have 3, and we have 7 across, right? Now what we just do is just double click on this. Once you just double click, I have your concrete at 8 plus 2 plus 3 plus 7, and that's covered for all of these 4. Then okay, you see it increased your quantity here immediately. Right now, just come to your takeoff summary down here. Also for the formwork, you see your formwork here immediately as 5.4. so your formwork, even as you're measuring your concrete, your formwork is also being measured already with you. So that's one of the beauties of making use of this ADLM template. It makes your work very easy and shortens the time by half. Now move to the next part here, which is the reinforcement. Because after you've done your concrete, you've done your formwork, the next part is the reinforcement. Now for here, we have Y20 bars here. This is saying we are using the Y20 bars for this coming from the foundation. Same goes for this. This is Y16. This is a mixture of Y16 and Y25. This is Y20. This is a mixture of Y16 and Y20. So we have 2 of this column using straight 6 of Y20. Then we have 2 having a mixture of Y16 and Y25. I'm sure most of you will be confused at this stage. How do you go about it? Or it will be one stressful bit, but honestly it doesn't. Okay, let's go about it now. And for the first one here, which is the Y20, we have the list of them. We have the 16 reinforcement in column, 20 reinforcement in column, 25 reinforcement in column. So for this, we're using up the 20. That's the 20 reinforcement in column, right? Now you can just pick this here. Once you pick this, that's for the Y20 reinforcement in column. Since it's just starter, just put 1. For number of floors, this will be 1. Description, you can just put ST for starter. You can just use the code. Now the number of road, you have 6. This is what it says here, 6. Then the height, this is for this point down to the bottom of the slab. That's ground floor slab. That's 2 meters, right? Now we have the extra. Now we have the one that will go through the slab. That's 0.15 plus that one that will come out. That would you will join other reinforcement too. Let's use that as 0.8, right? Then we have one more, which is the last one. The last one here is the bend that would go down into this point here. So at this page, that will be 0.4. That's for this long side, and this bend, that's 0.4, right? Once you've done that, just click OK, and just click for this. Okay, so that is for this, and this is the total quantities of Y20. That's 49.6 kg. But remember, this is just for one. Now we're having this in 2 places. That's for this first one and the second one being similar, right? So I just turn this on. Let's turn this back on this side here, and just pick for this. That shows you've picked for these 2 that have similar details. I hope you understand. Now we'll move to the next one here, which is the Y16. For the Y16, we have 2 of Y16 and 4 of Y25, right? Now what we just do is, for Y16, just turn this on. So once you turn this on here, the number of floors, that should be 1. Then description, you can just put starter, that's ST. Then the word number for Y16, that's 2. The height is also 2 meters. Then 0.15, which is the slab thickness. Then plus the extra up, that's 0.8. Plus the extra we used to join down here, let's just use 0.4. Once you've done that, just click OK, and just single click for 1 and 2. That's for this 2. Then we have this as a quantity for your Y16 bars. Now for your Y25 also, that's for 4. You can just click this on, just turn this on with a single click here. Now once you've turned this on, the number of floors also should remain 1. Then this should be starter, ST. Then the number, that's 4. The height, that's the same 2. Then this is 0.15 plus 0.8 plus 0.4. Okay, then that would be this and this. Okay, now once you're done, I'm sure many will be like, where is the links, right? Many will be like, where's the links? Now all you do now is just come to your takeoff summary here, and for the first one here, this is your form of a column starter, which is total. Now for reinforcement here, the links, just double click. Once you double click, just put the diameter. That's for here we have a 10 mm diameter links. right? Then the cover, that's 0.05. You can just click on drop down, this is here. Then the length of the link, that's the column length, that's 0.45, that's cross section. Then the width is 0.23, right? Then the bend, that's the overlap of the links, that's 0.15. Spacing as indicated here as 200. Remember the indicated spacing here as 200, that's 0.2. Number of floors should be 1. Then okay, so we have this for your column length. Same goes for this also, just double click. Then the diameter, that's for 10 mm diameter bar. The cover should be 0.05, just pick this. The length 0.45 rather, 0.23. The bend is 0.15. The spacing as stated here 0.2. And number of floors, just a single floor. Then okay, so you have this already. You see your links are similar because they have similar heights, just the main bars that are different, but they have similar heights and all, so that's why you're having similar links. But you see for the third one here, now remember the links is going across this board, right? So we have the Y12, Y25 and Y16, but you have a single link of Y10 going across board. That is why we'll be using just a single one here. I hope we're on the same page. Okay, now once you're done with this at the stage, that is for the columns excavation, the column base and column starter. You're done with that completely, and you're able to do this in less than 10 minutes. So no matter the kind of drawing type you have, once you have this ADLM plugin, it makes your work very easy, very easy. Now one more quick one before we come to the end of today's video. Now we come to the main page here, which shows the entire coverage area of the building here. This is a very big one, right? Now we come down to substructure. Yeah, and for substructure here, you want to cover for your oversight concrete and all. Before that, let's just pick for the GAT. That's all those wall lengths. So we have the GAT here. Let's turn this on. Once you turn this on, that's the perimeter length of all the walls here. Okay, they can just pick from here, just pick across. This is a very big one, right? So I'll be doing this for the walls around here. Well, the basic assumption that a building would be going in this direction here. So just pick this for all of your external trench. So for those that will be like, oh, this is going to take so much time, you coming back and all to do all of this measurement several times. For those that are familiar with Planswift, they will feel, oh, like they're coming back all the time for a measurement at all. But Planswift itself has the freedom to do all of this for you, and with the ADLM tool, it makes it very easy for you to complete your work immediately. And let's just look for the internal vertical. Okay, now that I'm done with all of this and I picked for the entire perimeter of my wall, and I'm good to go. Now the next one, which is the building area here, just turn this on and just pick my building area. That's the edges of the building. Just pick from this point here, just do this like this. Just pick the edge of your building so it encompasses the entire area of your building. So this gives you a very accurate and precise measurement. Also, a quick one, if you're doing a measurement and you fall behind or you missed some part and you want to go back after clicking the points, you can just use the backspace button on your keyboard and you can always go back. So let's say I just picked this by mistake here, and I don't want to do like so, just press backspace twice and you see I'm back on track. So that's one thing you should take note of. And once you double click, that shows I'm done with this, and I picked the entire area of this building. I told you the building is a large one, 3,000 square meters. Okay, now once you're done with this, you can just come down. Let me just kind of zoom this part in a bit for you to remember these details. Right now, come back to your takeoff summary down here. For your trench excavation, just put the width, which is 0.675. Yeah. You can always, since it was not given here, okay, we're given, that's the footing thickness 700 by 300, so it's a little bit larger. So just put the width as 0.7, the depth as 0.3. See, it's for your earthwork support, just put the entire depth height of excavation, that's 1.3. The excavation depth, rather, this should be 1.3. That should be your excavation depth, not your footing thickness. Then your leveling and compacting, that's the area, just put the width as 0.7. The footing, that's the concrete footing itself now, that's 0.3 by 0.7. That's the footing. Then the block work here. Now this is very simple at the stage. You have your total excavation as 1.3, just minus the thickness of your footing, that's 0.3. Then you have the upper side concrete here to contend with, that's minus 0.15. So you have the volume of block from this point here down to this point here. They have the area of block, rather. Then okay, so you have that here as your quantity. Then you have your damp-proof core also covered. Now coming down, you have your site clearance already, your topsoil excavation. Then within topsoil, just put the thickness, that's 150 millimeters. Okay. Then your filling, it says here 300 mm laterite filling, hardcore filling, that's the imported filling. So just double click, and the thickness of your block 0.23, the thickness of your hardcore, that's 0.3, the length of your block work, that's this gap, that's 1340. The thickness still remains the same, that's 0.3. And okay, and you have all of this. Then your overside concrete here is 0.15. See the drop down, 0.15. Okay, and now you're good to go. Your wire mesh also is here as the area of the building. So all of this has been covered already for you in just clicks. You see how to measure for reinforcement, formwork, and it just clicks and you're done with all of this. Now I'm sure most of you will be like, how will you export this to your takeoff, and how will you get the summary for items of work that are like this, for example, and you just adjust the total of all of this, right? I'm coming, let me delete this, sorry. This came up twice, so let me just delete this. Okay, now we're good. I'm sure everybody will be like, oh, you have your surface treatment separate, your earthwork support, and you want everything to be together, and you don't want to do the stress of using your calculator, adding up and all. Then you can just come down to reports. On this report column, it loads it in for you, and this is where you have you have your wire mesh, the total quantity is this, your trench excavation, total volume is this, topsoil, total volume, surface treatment, you see all of this. For all the surface treatment, it gave you a total square meters, total area, site clearance area, topsoil disposal, everything this. So you see how it gives you every of this information in details. Your leveling and compacting started from here, give you a total down here. So you see how it's doing all of these calculations for you in details. So with this, it makes your work very easy. For your column links, for starter, you see the total here. So this is how you get all of these quantities yourself without any stress. So you can just take all these quantities and just type them in the bill, as easy as this. You can just export down to Excel. If you just need these details, you can just export down to Excel. But if you just need the cost information and all, for most of you won't have this as it is here. So all you do is just come to grid view. On this grid view, you have other columns here, so you can just pick the column you want and just add or delete. That's how you go about the grid view. Then you can always sort here. Let me okay, for the part folder type. Now we have all of this here by default. This is how you would see it by default, which is something like this, which may not be appealing to you and all. Right now, what you can do now is just come down to this, then you sort by name. But basically I like sorting by units, so it makes my work very easy and neat. Once I sort by units, right, or by name, basically your choice, then this extra information, if I don't need them, just right click and remove this column. Right click, remove this column. So once I remove all of this column, it goes off. Once I remove all of this, it goes off completely. Then I can now come down to preview. You see how it's looking like now. For my column base, all of this in meter cube 1 to 4, I have all of this here. For the concrete in column starter, in column base rather, you have all of this here as this. Reinforcement in column base, Y16, Y12, Y20 and Y25, all of this here. Your GAT, your block work and strip foundation. So all of this information have all been made available to you here without any stress. That's the beauty of doing this. It makes your work easy and well explained and moderate. I hope you understand. So that is how you'd go about this. So basically that will be all for today's session. In the next session, I'll be putting you through how to measure for beam, block work and all. As you can see, and this are tools here. We only made use for the columns in this session. Next we have the beam. Here we have the lift wall, we have the slab information here, you have your staircase, block work, finishes, roof, as even to plumbing. So we'll be covering all of this in the continuation of this session. And if you are interested in getting this plugin, kindly contact me, as I'll leave my contact in the description of this video down below, so you can always reach out to me and ask questions and contact me and all. And if you want to learn more about Planswift, you also reach out to me and I would guide you. Thank you. That'll be all for today. Kindly like this video and subscribe to this channel if it was really beneficial to you. Have a great day. Bye.